Hello everyone, and welcome to the reading of Digimon Liberator Debug.3-2 Part 2. Similar to my previous readings, I'm not a professional voice actor, and I'm just one person doing their best. So if the voices change of the characters from episode to episode, I'm just doing the best that I can. I mentioned this in the recording for Chapter 3 Part 1, but I've also got a bit of a cold. My cold was actually nice enough to not hurt and be awful until, I was done recording, so that was nice of it. But I think I'm slightly better now, so I'll probably still sound a little bit nasal, but otherwise I'm good to go. My 13-year-old Jack Russell Terrier has decided that he wants to actually be with me during the recording, which is very weird. I suppose he's just enjoying the fact that it's been slightly warmer now that we're near the end of winter. So if you hear any dog-related noises, I'll do my best to edit them out. But he's here right next to me, on his bed in my office. So usually he doesn't like being in the same room as recordings. Usually he's quite sound sensitive. But today he just would not take no for an answer. He was scratching at the door to be let in. So also if you hear any of him digging around in his bed, he's just getting comfy. He did that for a full 5 minutes before I could start recording. So my usual silence to remove will be a little bit harder because he was not silent in the part of the recording where I need just background noises. Anyway, so I do apologise for the slightly sick-sounding voice and any dog-related noises and background noises that you might hear. So I recommend still heading over to the official release of Digimon Liberator over on DigimonCard.com. If this, as in listening to this recording, is your primary way of consuming the Liberator web novel, partially so Bandai still gets the site visits, but also because each chapter, like we saw with Digimon Seekers, has art, and Digimon Liberator actually has visuals of each card that's mentioned in the story. While the mechanics of the card are included in the reading, if you want to see the card itself, head over to the official novel release over on DigimonCard.com. And with all that out of the way, let's continue on to Digimon Liberator Debug, Chapter 3, Part 2. Debug, Chapter 3, Part 2. As you wish. The man in the suit, Aruba, gave an irritated shrug as he accepted the challenge. We'll stop doing what we're doing if you win, and you can even go ahead and ban us, or whatever you wish. This sent a ripple of shock through the group. Some weren't sure whether he was serious, while others tried to make him see sense. What was the point of taking such a risk? However, he quietened them with a wave of his hand and went on. If I win, I'll be posting about your pathetic undercover operation online, and I may exaggerate a few details, but nothing too major, only enough to ensure a scandal and prevent you from showing your faces in Lacuna ever again. There was a short silence before the group broke out into cheers. These losers are done for! No way that guy can beat Aruba! How stupid can you get? They could have just apologised. The jeering went on, and some even readied cameras to snap a memento of the debugger's imminent humiliation. Amid this, Ryutaro was addressed by a voice from his D storage. You'll need to be careful, Ryu, said Tyrannomon, just as Aruba's battle request popped up in his partner's menu. There's no reason for him to accept this. Either he's extremely confident, or he has something up his sleeve. Yeah, that much I realise, replied Ryutaro, his determined tone making it clear that no more need to be said. What's it going to be then? Do you agree to my conditions, or has that got you scared? Asked Aruba. I'm the one who requested the battle, like I'm going to back down, said Ryutaro. And then, thrusting out a raised thumb, he declared, You're on! Aruba made an amused expression that seemed to say, and so it begins, the stakes here couldn't be higher. Digimon Liberator Side Story. Debug, Chapter 3, Part 2, We Can Be Heroes. Damn, you really got me cornered, said Ryutaro. I thought you were up for a fight. Not becoming of a wannabe superhero to be so down in the dumps now, is it? Responded Aruba, clearly in the ascendancy. His voice was calm, but he looked uncomfortable as he loosened his tie, gazing up at the blazing lapis marine sun. Ryutaro felt a different kind of discomfort as he scanned his hand and his battle area in turn, searching for solutions. He was down to 2 security cards, with 4 cards in play. 2 Digimon, 1 each in the battle area and the breeding area, plus 2 of his tamer cards. Aruba, meanwhile, had 3 Digimon, and each of them was a cause for concern. 2 were cherubic Lucemon, but these weren't Ryutaro's biggest problem. Beside them stood a Digimon who utterly dominated the field with its serene, beguiling beauty. One of the 7 great demon lords. This ultimate entity was said to have rebelled against God. It is aligned with the Morning Star, possessing both holy and demonic aspects. Lucemon Chaos Mode. With its aptly named Dead or Alive effect, which activates on play and when digivolving, it forces the opponent to either delete a Digimon or Tamer card, or to trash a security card. Aruba was delighted. How very rich! Someone who's obviously a delusional Digimon lover opting to sacrifice an ally rather than take a hit himself. And even still, my Lucemon has you down to just 2 security. You're a real... began Ryutaro, but his comeback was cut short by a low voice from his battle area. Keep it cool, Ryu! No need to get riled up! A call for calm came from Ryu's partner, but it wasn't the usual Tyrannomon. Instead, there was a Digimon who had fought many more battles, proven by its numerous scars, notably across the eye, and the intense hue of its ashen hide. Master Tyrannomon. You made the right decision. There was no way you could let him recover, was there? Master Tyrannomon was right. Choosing to trash a security card would have left Aruba to add a card to his security stack with Lucemon's recovery effect. That would have made winning harder for Ryutaro, since his deck relied on wiping out the opponent's security with a swift onslaught. You did that because you know the threat posed by your opponent, and what have you to do to win. Your judgment is solid, and that's why we're willing to put our lives on the line for you, continued Master Tyrannomon, its words backed up by a reassuring nod from Tyrannomon in the breeding area. Okay, guys, have no fear, I'm about to kick ass, just like always, enthused Ryutaro, nodding back. But first, I need to stop getting my own hide handed to me. It's just not my style. So, what say we go on the counter-offensive, partner? You got it, growled Master Tyrannomon, homing in on Aruba's security stack. I'm attacking, so I activate my Tamer's card effect. Master Tyrannomon evolves into... The effect in question can be activated when a player attacks with a Digimon that has Tyrannomon in its name, and allows a Tyrannomon or a Dinosaur Digimon to digivolve into a card in the hand, with the cost cut by 1. The sands of Lapis Marine were dyed glowing crimson as a flaming pillar arose where Master Tyrannomon had stood, and then, imperiously clawing its way out of the pillar, emerged an enormous dinosaur. Dynamon! Its stony body emitted waves of heat, and the very air shimmered as if melting. Raising its fist armoured with the fiery plating, it gave the impression of a walking volcano as it roared. This roar also summoned a searing shockwave, and a Lucemon was struck and deleted. This was Dynamon's when digivolving effect. To top everything off, the newly digivolved Digimon had security attack +1, and so it took down 2 security cards, leaving Aruba with 3. Great, looking epic as always, Dynamon! Don't think any of this is for show. What you see is a result of my long quest for ultimate strength. As the two continued their casual conversation, Aruba sighed disgruntledly. Well, I'm sweating, but not from all the heat. Another big body change is nothing. Now, Lucemon! To start his turn, Aruba activated Lucemon's effect, discarding a card to force Ryutaro to decide between trashing one of his own security or letting Aruba recover. I choose to trash the security card, he declared, this time with no hesitation. You... what? Said a shocked Aruba. Similarly, Yuki, who had been intently following every mood, let out a gasp. For real, Ryu? You seemed insistent on keeping your security, even sacrificing that Digimon. Aren't you worried about being attacked directly? Ryutaro shrugged this off. No sweat. I know my partner's got this. And then revealed another of Dynamon's effects. While it is suspended, all opposing Digimon must target a suspended Digimon when attacking. Though down to one security card, this high DP wall ensures Ryutaro won't be attacked. Emboldened, he issued a provocation. Hope you had fun playing God, Aruba, 'cause now I'm turning up the heat. What have you got? Frowning, Aruba looked up at the monolithic new combatant, and then cast his eyes downward. As I said, one extra big body changes nothing, he said, giving a wicked smile, and letting out a callous laugh. It's time to digivolve, Lucemon. You've got no further need of those white wings. Responding to these words, Lucemon Chaos Mode went down onto its knees. Holy and Demonic ceased to be in balance, and, with a gathering of light particles, it turned into a monstrously huge, abyssally black dragon. Above its head floated 7 crowns, signifying that its status surpassed even the Demon Lords. This was the Dragon of Revelation, Lucemon, Satan Mode. The two monstrous reptiles in the battle area faced off, but ultimately they did not clash. Lucemon's Satan Mode's effect played a Lucemon larvae from Aruba's trash to the breeding area, and thus deleted an opposing Digimon. Dynamon was struck by Gehenna, the abyssal dragon's diabolic orb. It raised its armoured fist in resistance, but to no avail. The hellish flame's force was too great. Silence reigned, until Aruba could no longer contain his delight. His stuttering laugh of mockery grew louder, until he was in full flow. You must have thought you've had me. You bet everything on that Digimon, and now it's no more. Truly, a sorry sight. Ryutaro made no response, as his opponent bent backward in a derisive pose and continued with increasingly childish remarks. Just so you know, you irritated me from the start. Your whole hero act, even though you're only some random player. Give me a break, would you? What, and let you get away with all the bad things you've done? As if you could pin that on us anyway, with zero evidence. And even if we were forced from Liberator, there's no shortage of childish games where we could go and do the exact same thing. Leaving the loudest laugh for last, Aruba then pointed judgingly at Ryutaro. You're going to lose either way, but I want you to realize concepts like justice and evil are simply nonsense. These words finally drew a reaction from the downcast Ryutaro. He looked up and gave his adversary a sharp glare. Humph, something to say? Glaring won't win you the battle, said Aruba, somewhat flustered. I have to hand it to you, said Ryutaro, narrowing his eyes before bursting into a genuine smile. You're a tough opponent. What? Aruba practically shrieked, hardly able to believe his ears. I assumed you cheated since you had no shot in these tournaments, but you've shown beyond doubt that you have skills. Now I'm even more pumped up. What babble is this? Sorry to say, you were close, but no cigar. Ryutaro gave a mischievous grin as he explained. That's certainly a nice effect your Lucemon has. Must have felt good to force those choices on me. But if a tamer lets his ego swell, it never ends well. Just then, the Gehenna in the Satan Mode's hands began to radiate, and from inside burst forth an arm. It was that of a scorching dinosaur, emerging as if from the flames of hell itself. Grrrr! Gehenna shattered, and Dynamon came roaring back into the battle area, courtesy of its fortitude effect. Deleting Dynamon doesn't get rid of it, explained Ryutaro. That doesn't make much sense, Ryu, commented Yuki. Undeterred, he continued, and what's more, it raises hell when it revives. Dynamon activated the same on-play effect from earlier, this time with Lucemon's Satan Mode as the target. However, Aruba had a failsafe. Grrr, I used Lucemon's larvae effect, sending it to the battle area and stopping the deletion of my Satan Mode. He had kept Satan Mode in play by the skin of his teeth. Yet, this was more than just a defensive play. Aruba spoke again. in a combative tone that hinted he'd rediscovered the path to victory, or at least wanted to appear as if he had. "I'll teach you to get cocky. Now for Lucimon Satan Mode's turn-end effect." Ryutaro was stripped of another security card, and yet, "Big deal," he said, not appearing fazed in the slightest. Aruba surely thought he had his opponent on the ropes, but he was met with more fighting words. "Okay guys, no more defense. We're gonna have to go in fists flying." Beginning his turn, Ryutaro declared his opening 1-2 punch. "I move Tyrannomon from the breeding area to my battle area and attack. Then with my Tamer card, I evolve it into Master Tyrannomon." With Master Tyrannomon's when digivolving effect, he suspended Aruba's Lucimon, and he wasn't done yet. "With the other effect of my other Tamer card, I'll digivolve once more." What was moments ago a Tyrannomon was now a Dynamon, all thanks to the cost-reducing ability of Ryutaro's Tamer card. "I then delete your suspended Lucimon with my when digivolving effect." What? Really? Faced with the two bellowing Dynamon, the situation was dawning on Aruba, and he scratched his head feverishly. "Taking into account the effect the Dynamon's Digivolution card, there'll be 3 security checks," Ryutaro informed him. "Gah! Strike back, Lucimon Satan Mode!" The Dragon of Revelation appeared from the security, confronting Dynamon. It appeared insurmountable with 1600 DP. However, we need to account for Tyrannomon's Start Your Main Phase effect, which boosts Dynamon's DP from 1300 to 1600. That's another 2000 from its Digivolution card effect. That adds up to 1800. "No. Does this mean I'll lose?" "Sorry, Aruba. We'll be getting through unscathed." "Wait, is there—" Aruba looked on blankly as his revelatory card faded. He cast a fixed gaze on his hand, then turned feverishly to his trash, and then back. Perhaps he believed there was something that could save him. But there was not. "Lucimon," he sighed, staring at the Chaos Mode card in his hand. For a second, it seemed to have given him a censoring smirk, showing its disappointment in the Tamer who was about to be brought to justice for his misdeeds. As Aruba let his card slip from his hand, Ryutaro had some final words for his deflated opponent. "You know, Aruba, you have a point. Justice and evil may be nonsense. Still, there's times when you have to follow your gut and accept there's a right and wrong. You called Liberator childish, and yeah, a lot of kids do play it." With this, Ryutaro thought back to his own adventures with Digimon as a boy. "But that's all the more reason for the adult players to set the right example. So come on, partner, let's show we're the heroes and they're the villains." Having returned from Hellfire with its fortitude, Dynamon gave confirmation before going in for the finisher. "All right, Ryu." The dinosaur's inner fire was so intense as to dye its stony hide crimson. "Justice prevails," declared Ryutaro just as his final attack landed. "We're freezing your account and those of the other main members. For the others it varies. It's mostly severe warnings and tournament suspensions." It was bedlam after Ryutaro's victory over Aruba. Having reported to the GMs and obtained the requisite in-game permissions, the debuggers set about rounding up the group of wrongdoers. With Winner and Yuki much quicker to get to the hang of the steps involved, the man of the moment found himself sidelined. "Okay, what can I say? I'm no spring chicken. Might as well let you handle them." It was just Aruba he had to take care of. Already detained, he showed no emotion as he was informed of his punishment. "So, you had all the GMs transfer you their powers. Not much of a chance of escaping from that, I suppose. Still, it would never have occurred to me that you'd use a battle to buy time." "That wasn't the idea at all," said Ryutaro. "And anyway, you were free to refuse." "As I said, what you debuggers do just irritates me," said a glowering Aruba. "I suppose your whole hero act went just as you'd wanted, although it's just as childish as this game." Not responding, Ryutaro pressed some buttons on his D-storage, after which a little electric beep came from Aruba's. "Huh, you messaged me, this is—" "A spare Liberator account of mine. I won't need it, so use it as you like, play some online battles if the mood strikes." "But why would you—" Before the flustered Aruba could finish, he was offered a hand by Ryutaro. "That was an intense match, and like another. You've got to admit, games can be a blast when you put your soul into them." Seeming perplexed, Aruba gave a tut and then looked aside. "I've had enough of your nonsense. Just go away already," he said. "Sure thing. Let's go again sometime," replied Ritaro. And with that, he made his way back to Tyrannomon and the others. "Well, Tyrannomon, I bet that must have tuckered you out. Still, we've come all this way to the coast, so let's take a little swim," said Ritaro. "Not a bad idea, but it turns out that..." Ritaro gave a curious grunt as he turned to face where his partner's claw was pointed. It was Winner, speaking to someone on his device. He promptly closed it as he noticed it too. "Thanks for all your hard work, Ritaro. Unfortunately, we've been summoned by the GMs," he said coolly. "Don't tell me that means," Ritaro asked. "They are not happy with how we carried out the investigation, to say the least," reported Winner. "Gah, no way!" Tyrannomon looked on bemused as his partner seethed in frustration, looking up to the sky with his hands on his head. Although Ritaro is usually so unreliable, his Digimon knowledge really is second to none. I won't disagree with you there. Darn straight, and when the going gets tough, his whole hero thing is actually quite convincing. Ritaro had been praised quite highly by his teammates during the battle, but let's not share that just right now. And so, with the sea breeze cooling its battle-worn body, the Crimson Dinosaur looked back over another day in Lacuna. And that's it for another part of Digimon Liberator. I'm actually pretty happy with how Langley didn't scratch around too much, and my voice more or less stayed voice-like for the recording, so an extra bonus there. So thanks for listening, and you can contact us and stay updated. You can leave us a comment on this episode on YouTube to join in on the conversation, and if you are listening/watching this on YouTube, do the like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, etc. thing. For a full list of ways to find the podcast across the internet, such as YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, and Twitter, head over to Linktree, so that is linktr.ee/LostinTranslationmon. If you enjoy the podcast or videos, or even my silly little posts online, you can show your support by signing up on Patreon and get some cool rewards and help us hit some milestones. Thank you to our current supporters on Patreon: Stephen Reeves, who is Wild64 on Archive Our Own, Kaidawashi Chisai, who can follow on Twitter at Chisai236, Neobu, who says you should follow Chisai on Twitter at Chisai236, Lismet, who is Elecmon on Tumblr, Nicholas, Emery from Gone Hunting, a Hunter Hunter podcast, Magnus, Lucas, Jasonmon05, Patrick, Jason, Shelby, Digital Hazard, who's on Twitch at The Digital Hazard, Dropiamon, Vmon Tamer, Kasai, Big Bad, Beetleborg, Bent Archer, and Cappy. You can also make a donation on PayPal, which you found linked in the description. It's paypal.me/Airdramon. You can also donate to me on my Ko-fi account, which is ko-fi.com/Airdra. So yes, that's it for another part. I have a sausage roll in the oven with my name on it, so I'm going to go do that. So thanks for listening, enjoy the rest of your day, and do the like, comment, subscribe, etc., and I will see you on the next one. Bye!